Hello， 大家好，非常欢迎大家如期参加2022年度 ECHEMI 外贸商学院的系列课程。我是今天活动的主持人以令。ECHEMI.com 作为全球领先的数字化跨境化工 B2B 平台，正在为全球1万多家供应商和7万多位买家提供服务。我们为化学品企业提供集资讯、获客、交易、服务于一体的 VIP 套餐产品，包括线上营销渠道建立、线上线下推广服务、在线交易服务等，囊括化工行业出口业务的各个开发环节，并有针对性的为每一环节提供强有力的支持，意在为化学品企业提供更加深入的化工营销解决方案，助力供应商企业迅速开拓海外市场，建立稳定海外渠道，全面提升海外销售业绩。ECHEMI.com 为海外买家提供涂料、精细化工、食品与营养、医药等4大领域500多个原材料的价格和市场分析、产品应用解决方案及客户购买服务、供应商认证服务，协助买家有效解决购买产品中所遇到的问题。ECHEMI 一直为全球买家和供应商长期深度合作开通更多渠道，携手共同开拓数字化赋能的化工交易市场，加速完善化工品数字化生态圈，为客户提供更好的产品和服务。在未来，我们期待与广大客户及合作伙伴共同推动化工产业的智能化、数字化升级，达成共生共赢。今天的课程有幸邀请到ECHEMI 医药事业部孟加拉客户经理 Mr. Islam 为大家带来2022 ECHEMI 外贸商学院全球市场在线洞察的首场分享。Mr. Islam 将在今天下午的直播课程中就孟加拉市场趋势、热门产品等内容进行详细的讲解。欢迎大家关注ECHEMI的官方微信及微信视频号，了解更多全球化工资讯与服务。您也可以拨打4006-601-110与我们的国内客户经理联系，了解更多本次课程的干货知识。另外，欢迎大家在本次直播课程的互动区进行分享与互动，欢迎提出关于本次课程的问题。那么各位演讲嘉宾将在每场课程演讲结束后的问答环节，就大家的提问进行解答，与更多外贸人进行互动交流。那么咱们话不多说，有请我们的本期演讲嘉宾带来今天的分享。Let's welcome Mr. Islam to address his speech. Mr. Islam, you are free to share your presentation by full screen.
Thank you, Clara. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and a warm welcome to my presentation. First of all, I would like to thank you all for joining here today. Let me start by saying a few words about my own background. This is Mazaharul Islam from ECHEMI Global Company Limited, working as a senior sales manager, Pharma Division, Bangladesh. I'm a pharmacist and I did my Bachelor of Pharmacy from University of Science and Technology, Chittagong, Masters of Pharmacy from State University of Bangladesh, and Masters of Business Administration, IBA, from Public University, Jahangirnagar University. I started my career as a product executive in the year of 2011 in product management department at Novo Health and Pharma Limited. I was responsible for product management, new product launching, landscape marketing strategy, product positioning. After 2 years, I was promoted as senior product executive at the same organization and launched first time in Bangladesh products almost 5 to 6, especially vegetable capsule shell, which was the new era of Bangladesh pharmaceutical industry. In the year of 2015, I was switched my job from Novo Healthcare to newly growing startup company One Pharma Limited as product manager and responsible for product management department, marketing strategy department, regulatory affairs, and competitive marketing landscape, as well as ROI calculative issues. After 2 years, again, I moved my patent organization, another organization, Novo Healthcare Pharma Limited, as assistant marketing manager. I was responsible for whole marketing team, product management team, regulatory affairs, new product launching team, and so on. At the end of 2020, I switched my job to a newly growing API industries with the consultancy firm Formalization as a business development manager. From September 2021, I'm working with ECHEMI Global Company Limited till date. Personally, I'm married. I have a baby boy. Now he's 7. My wife also pharmacist. She is a homemaker. I loved traveling, exploring new horizon, watching movies. Thank you. Dear audience, as you can see on the screen, our topic today is Bangladesh pharmaceutical industry, a rising star in LDCs. In my presentation, I will focus on 4 major issues. First of all, that means part 1, I would like to give you an overview of Bangladesh pharmaceutical industry. Next, that means part 2, I will focus on revenue, growth, share, and market segmentation of Bangladesh pharmaceutical industry. Then, I will go on to highlight what I see as the main point, that is export and import landscape of Bangladesh pharmaceutical industry. Finally, that means part 4, I would like to address prospects and opportunities of Bangladesh pharmaceutical industry. Ladies and gentlemen, now Bangladesh proudly stands alone as the only LDC that has a well-developed pharmaceutical sector. The main features of pharma sectors are as follows. The pharmaceutical industry is one of the most developed technology-based sector in Bangladesh. There are about 284 licensed pharmaceutical companies in Bangladesh. Among them, 213 are functional. The pharmaceutical sector of Bangladesh has been transforming and evolving since the early 80s. The sector has grown from strength to strength over the last 5 decades. Manufacturers produce almost all types of medicine, which includes high-tech products like insulin, hormones, anti-cancer products, etc. This sector provides 98% of the total medicinal requirements of the local market. Beyond this, the industry also exports medicines to 150 plus countries, including USA, UK, Canada, Australia, Germany, European Union, etc. Pharmaceutical companies are expanding their business with the aim to expand their export market. Since this is a technology and knowledge-based sector, the journey was not an easy one for a LDC country like Bangladesh faced with enormous economic challenges. Dear audience, according to Bangladesh Association of Pharmaceutical Industries and Directorate General of Drug Administration, 284 licensed pharmaceutical companies are enlisted. Among 213 are functional. About 85% of the produced drugs are generic drugs in this sector. 15 are patent drugs. Almost more than 450 generic drugs with the 5,300 registered brands and 8,300 different forms of doses and strengths. The industry continues its strong research orientation in generic formulation development and has already proven its skill with successful development of specialized high-tech formulations, which are very difficult to imitate. Leading companies have focused on specialized dosage delivery system to create a strong footprint differentiation and successfully developed metered-dose inhaler, dry powder inhaler, lyophilized injectables, sterile ophthalmics, prefilled syringes, oral thin films, multi-layer tablets, biological products including insulin, vaccine, etc. Bangladesh pharma industry development keep good performance and plays an increasingly important role in the international arena. Dear viewers, now I will give a snapshot about this sector. The pharmaceutical industry of Bangladesh considered emerging generic drug hub in Asia. This sector, nearly self-sufficient, 98% demand met by local production. Historical good market growth maintained over the last 4 years with a CAGR 8.93%. The pharmaceutical industry make a strong footprint in the global arena for 153 countries. Strong manufacturing base with skilled manpower. This sector is the largest white-collar labor-intensive employment sector in Bangladesh, and this sector is the second highest contributor to national exchequer. The leading companies have almost all major GMP accreditations like US FDA, UK MHRA, EU GMP, Health Canada, TG Australia, Anvisa Brazil, GCC, etc. Ladies and gentlemen, now part 2, revenue, market segment and share. Dear audience, according to IQVIA, formerly known as IMS Healthcare, met Q3 2021. The market size of Bangladesh pharmaceutical industry is US 3.2 billion with the growth rate of 10.72% and CAGR last 4 years 8.93. Revenue in last 5 years, dear audience, as you can see on the screen, from 2017 to 2021, met Q3 2021. From 2017, the market size was 2,269 million USD. Consequently, with the enormous growth, the market is now 3.2 billion USD. With the growth rate 2018, 8%, 2019, 9%, and 2020, the growth rate was 13% with the boost up of corona pandemic issues, and 2021, 11% up to the Met Q3. Dear audience, as I said before, 213 functional companies are domestically fighting each other. Here, top 10 companies grab 70% market share, and second top 10 company, that means 11 to 20 companies, catch 20%, and rest of the company gets 10% market share. So, market-driven top 20 companies are Square Pharmaceuticals Limited, number 1 position. This Square Pharmaceuticals Limited is a US FDA-approved pharmaceutical company. Incepta Pharmaceuticals is specialized in insulin, vaccine. Beximco Pharmaceuticals, also US FDA-approved. Healthcare Pharmaceuticals, Renata Pharmaceuticals, Opsonin Pharmaceuticals, Escape Pharmaceuticals, Aristo Pharma, Acme Laboratories, Radiant Pharma, and consequently, top 20 pharma, ECHEMI. Dear audience, as you can see on the screen, the therapeutic group was market share. Here, alimentary tract and metabolism therapeutic class grabs 36.51 market share. Respiratory system 9.45%. Systemic anti-infectives catch 14.20%. Musculoskeletal system catch 5% market share. The cardiovascular system catch 11.45% market share. GU system and sex hormones 3.50. Nervous system 10.47%, and rest of the therapeutic class grade 9.42% total market share. The top 20 generics products, which cover 52.35% market share of Bangladesh pharma industries, are the first, esomeprazole. This is an anti-ulcerant. The market size is 2,086 crore taka. Consequently, calcium, cholecalciferol, metformin, cefuroxime, clavulanic acid, montelukast, amlodipine, cefixime, pyridoxine, and 20 azithromycin. Dear audience, our third part, export and import landscape. As I said before, I see as the main point of this presentation. Export revenue, Bangladesh has reported a growth of over 22% in pharmaceutical exports that crossed the 100 million mark during the first half of the fiscal year ended in December 2021. This strong growth in pharmaceutical exports came at a time when the coronavirus pandemic has rattled many businesses across the world. As you can see that in the fiscal year 19, the export market was 130 million US dollar, with a little bit growth in the fiscal year 20, 135 US dollar, 135 million US dollar, with an enormous growth, fiscal year 21, 169 million US dollar. Now, Bangladesh has set a target to export US 180 million worth of pharmaceuticals in fiscal year 2021 to 2022. Exporters have already achieved 71% of the target in the first 6 months. Among 213 operating companies, almost 47 to 50 companies engaged with export pharmaceutical finished goods beyond its domestic meetup. Export of 153 countries meets 98% domestic demand, according to Export Promotion Bureau of Bangladesh. Dear audience, according to Bangladesh Association of Pharmaceutical Industries and Export Promotion Bureau, export is growing fast. The current export earnings is more than US 169.02 million, which is crossing mark of BDT 14 billion. Bangladesh government has declared pharmaceutical sector as the thrust sector, and approximately 1,200 pharmaceutical products received registration for export over the last 2 years. Leading companies have increasing focus on highly regulated markets, including USA, UK, Canada, Australia, Germany, European Union, etc. Leading companies have nearly all major GMP accreditations, as I said before. Few companies are now exporting medicines to the highly regulated countries, includes US, UK, Canada, Australia, Germany, Europe, etc. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said before of my presentation, import landscape is the vital role for Bangladesh pharmaceutical industry. Though Bangladesh nearly self-sufficient in the area of finished drugs, but more than 90% of the API and raw materials have to be imported. According to MRC Bangladesh Limited 2017, the global API market size in 2020 was USD 187.3 billion and is projected to reach USD 248.3 billion by 2025 at a CAGR of 5.8%. In Bangladesh, the estimated market size of APIs in 2017 was around 730 million USD, and it is expected to reach around 1,409 million, that means 1.4 billion USD by 2025. Dear audience, as you can see on the screen, the estimated growth potential of API market in Bangladesh in 2013, the API market was 535 million USD. Consequent, in 2022, now the market is 1,166 million USD with the growth rate expected to 25, 1,409 million USD. Dear viewers, although there are 2,804 valid sources for procuring pharmaceutical raw materials, most of the APIs are sourced from India, China, Italy, and Germany. Of them, approximately 40% of the raw materials comes from China and 30% from India. Bangladesh had to import 46.5 billion worth of raw materials in 2019, as shown in the graph below. According to Statistical Yearbook Bangladesh 2020, in 2010, Bangladesh imported 8,215 million taka raw materials. Consequently, in 2019, the material purchase was 46 million 5,075 million taka. Dear viewers, prospect and opportunities of Bangladesh pharmaceutical industries. Global landscape for generic drugs. According to IQVIA market prognosis, September 2018, global generic market is valued at around US 1.3 trillion and is projected to grow 1.52 trillion by 2023. It says a growth, generic drugs will continue to growth, maintaining healthy rates. And a projection, drugs worth more than US 200 billion coming off patent by 2025. Global landscape for generic drugs, which cost burden issues. Rising healthcare cost, particularly cost of medicine, has become a global concern. Prospect, developed countries are increasingly promoting use of generic drugs. And a collaboration, multinationals are increasingly outsourcing their production for cost containment. Ladies and gentlemen, competitive edge of Bangladesh pharmaceutical industry. First of all, cost effective. Bangladesh offers tremendous manufacturing cost advantages due to its cheaper labor cost and availability of any sources from its beyond. Price benefits. Medicine prices are Bangladesh is currently among the lowest in the world, and regulatory advantages extended patent waiver from case. A snapshot of Bangladesh pharmaceutical industry competitive edge. As you can see, significant generic drug manufacturing skills in diverse dosage delivery system, experience in contract manufacturing organization activity, increasing number of international accreditations, global footprint in more than 150 countries. Cost of labor is among the lowest in the world, 3 to 4 times cheaper than India and China. WTO or TRIPS advantages, availability of skilled manpower, increasing investment in R&D, investor-friendly environment. Thank you all for your nice attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation, which explained a great summary of Bangladeshi pharmaceutical industry. Mr. Islam, and we sincerely welcome you to come to China one day after the COVID-19. And let's move to our Q&A session.
Okay.
那么感谢演讲嘉宾的市场洞察分享。下面我们收集了本场观众们提出的主要问题，有请我们的嘉宾进行解答。那么我们第一个看到的问题是，有一个观众提到，在您的分享中提到了排名前20位的孟加拉仿制药产品，那请问主要都是针对于哪些疾病的药呢？ So among the top 20 generic drugs, which diseases are mainly applied for? So can you answer this question, Mr. Isram?
Yeah, sure. As I said before, the 20 top generics is the market driving generics, and almost catch up 52% share. So most of the disease covered like gastric, ulcer, diabetes, bacterial infections, calcium and vitamin deficiency, asthma, high blood pressure, pain and inflammation, etc.
Okay, thank you. 那么我为大家来翻译一下 Mr. Isram 这边的一些解答。那目前呢，孟加拉排名前20位的仿制药呢，多用于胃溃疡、糖尿病、细菌感染、钙和维生素缺乏、哮喘、高血压、疼痛和炎症等疾病的一些治疗。那么我们再看一下下一个问题。那第二个问题是，有观众提问，那出口到高监管国家的比例是怎样呢？大概能占多少？ So Mr. Isram, the second question is about what is the proportion of export to highly regulated countries, and what is the approximate value?
Thank you, Clary. It's a nice question. As I said before, Bangladesh is a rising star for LDC countries in the case of export. So almost 153 countries, and the export proportion for regulatory countries is approximately 31%, and the value is 52.3 million USD in the fiscal year 2021.
Okay, that's a very good answer. 那Mr. Isram 对这个问题的解答是，那从2020年到2021年财年，孟加拉国针对于高度管制的国家出口的比例大概是在31%左右，那大约的价值是在5230万美元。So let's move to the third question. 那第三个问题是，孟加拉国在中国采购的原料药有哪些门类的偏好呢？ Is there a category preference for API sourced from China?
Thank you, Clary. As you know, Bangladesh pharmaceutical industry imports approximately 40% from China, and especially preference for antimicrobial drugs, that means antibiotic, anti-diabetic drugs, some anti-epileptics, antiviral drugs also, some NSAID, and most importantly, anti-cancer drugs. You know, Bangladesh pharmaceutical industry rising aggressively for anti-cancer drugs, and China is the first choice for these drugs.
Thank you very much. 那我为大家做一下这个关于 ECHEMI 专家的这个分享。那孟加拉从中国进口大约40%的这个原料药。那根据他之前的这个 presentation 的分享，那中国也是孟加拉进口原料药的主要的这个原产国。那采购的这个 API 呢，偏好类型都有类似于抗生素、抗癌药、非甾体抗炎药、抗癫痫药、抗病毒药和抗糖尿病药等等。So, Mr. Isram, let's have more questions to see. So the question is there a factory for API in Bangladesh? So the question is there any famous factory for API in Bangladesh?
Thank you, Clary. Currently, there are no API factory. That means I mean say in bigger scale. Some factories like Beximco, SCI produces 1 to 2 API in small scale for their own use. But for commercial scale, no API factory available here. But Bangladesh government donated a land, almost 2,700 acres for API industry in Bangladesh. Work is going on. It takes almost 8 to 10 years time to establish pharmaceutical API factories. But currently, no commercial factories available here.
Okay, thank you for your answer. 那么我简单为大家做一下这个翻译。那我们的 Isram 这边回答，目前的话，孟加拉还没有专门的这个原料药的工厂，但是目前的话，孟加拉政府将在未来的8到10年有更多的关于在孟加拉设立这个原料药工厂的一些扶持的一些政策。那也欢迎我们的这个中国还有我们的供应商来针对于如何在这个孟加拉建立原料工厂和进行本地化运营，和我们ECHEMI 进行更多的一些探讨和一些互动。So let's see the next question is. So the question is about the payment term. The question is previously we only export commodity to Bangladesh with the payment term of LC. So now it's no more than 500,000 USD can pay by TT, right?
Yes.
So it is
actually,
quite
yes, thank you, Clary. Actually, most of the cases above 5,000 or 6,000 US dollar, company will go on LC, and below 5,000, most of the companies will do TT.
So about the qualification, you mean 5,000
US dollar.
5,000 US dollar to 6,000 US dollar, right?
Yeah.
那Mr. Isram 这边的回答就是说，我们目前出口到孟加拉，除了使用这个 LC 之外的话，大家可以使用 TT 付款。那只要这个限额在50万到60万美金，这样子就可以做到。那关于下一个问题的话是 Is LC payment required for all export to Bangladesh?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
I hear you. Please.
The next question is also about the payment term by LC. So the question is LC payment require all export company to Bangladesh paid by USD?
Yes. Almost 98%, 98% to almost 100% companies paid by US dollar for export purpose or for import purpose, both.
OK, thank you. 那么，这个问题的话，Mr. Isram 的回答是，目前的话，出口到孟加拉的一些产品呢，付款我们是可以通过这个我们的 LC 信用证，还有我们的 TT 来进行支付。那支付的话，大多数都是通过美金来支付，极少数的话会用其他的一些货币。And one more question coming up is what certifications and qualifications are required for companies who is going to export their APIs to Bangladesh?
Okay, it's vary from product to product. You know, if product is new product, that means patent product. In that case, most of the document requirements like MOA. First of all, certificate of analysis. After that, company required method of analysis. After that, SDS, that means stability data, MSDS, TSC or VSC. And if have DMF, it will be advantageous. But if product is existing product, in that case, company requirements just SDS. If DMF great, it will be advantageous. So we can say for new drug, most of the documents like MSDS, SDS, COA, MOA, DMF, XPRD, HPLC chromatogram, this is needed for new product.
So do you recommend any website or any authority that all the Chinese exporters could check all the detailed information?
Actually, these types of website don't know, because Bangladeshi companies or our clients always asking the documents from manufacturer or seller directly. So first of all, they are looking for product GMP or factory GMP. If this is it is available from Chinese regulatory authorities, so they can rely.
Okay, thank you. Let's move to other questions. So the other question is about DGDA. So do you know how long does it take to export an API to Bangladesh, and how long will it get registered with the DGDA?
Yes, DGD is the organization for Bangladesh pharmaceutical industry, that means Directorate of General Drug Administration. For export purpose, when Bangladesh import raw materials from other countries like China or India or European source, it needs source validation. Source validation, that means when Bangladeshi company imports raw materials sample, and after stability, they submit in DGDA, and at that time, DGDA asks for manufacturer stability data, manufacturer all kinds of documents for source validation. So it is very important issues to validate a source in these countries like Bangladesh permanently for import purpose. So it takes almost 3 to 4 months if all things is smoothly going.
Okay, thank you. 那关于这个 DGDA 的这个注册的时间，这边的话 ，Mr. Isram 也给到了一个大概的一个时间。那通过这个注册的话，大概是需要3到4个月的这样的时间。那我们这边由于时间的关系的话，再挑一个问题去做这个回复。So the last question I would like to ask from Mr. Isram is that which of the top 20 companies make anti plastic drugs?
Anti-plastic products. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for your. It's a nice question. Actually, for anti-plastic products, recently Healthcare Pharmaceuticals Limited, Renata Pharmaceuticals Limited, and recently Beacon Pharma.
So can you show me the company name on your maybe on your presentation?
Sure. Yes, for anti-neoplastic drug, companies like Beximco Pharma, Healthcare Pharma, Renata Pharmaceuticals Limited. Recently, ECHEMI Pharmaceuticals Limited started, and for top 11 to top 20, ACI Pharma little bit, Drug International, and General Pharmaceutical recently started their projects. Beacon started their projects almost 9 to 10 years ago. They are the first leading companies for this portfolio, and Ziska have little bit.
So about 1/3 of the top 20 companies on the list are making manufacturing, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. 那这边 Mr. Isram 对这个问题的回答是，那目前排名前20位的这个孟加拉的医药企业呢，大概三分之一的企业都有在做这个产品。那有关于这个产品的更多的信息呢，也欢迎我们去搜索这些企业的这些网站，或者是进到他们的这个具体的联系人去对一些产品的一些信息。那我们今天非常感谢 Mr. Isram 的解答。那通过本次的分享和答疑环节，让大家对孟加拉医药市场有所了解。那希望能助力到各位的市场开发。那由于这个时差的原因呢，今天的问答环节暂告段落。Thank you, Mr. Islam, for your wonderful present today. Now wish you good luck, and we shall see you next time.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Claire. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Have
Bye-bye.
a good day. Bye. 那如果大家对此次市场洞察的内容感兴趣，欢迎大家锁定 ECHEMI 的微信视频号及微信公众号。那本期课程到这里就结束了，为大家预告下场课程。在我们的第2课中，也就是6月2日下周四的 ECHEMI 外贸商学院，我们将迎来巴基斯坦医药市场浅谈。更多内容敬请锁定 ECHEMI 官方微信及微信视频号。我们下周四同一时间再见。